Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here. As always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today in my playhouse, as I've always called my wacky place where I film all my videos. I've always referred to this as the playhouse, naming it after the beloved show that I grew up with. In fact, I didn't grab my tapes here. Let me grab these. Sorry to be off camera right off the bat. I loved Pee-wee's Playhouse growing up. This was such a staple of my childhood and something that I hold so near and dear to my heart. I still watch these VHS tapes every once in a while. I just got done watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I'm gonna do a review for that next. But what a sad day it is. Apparently Paul Reubens had been battling cancer for the last 6 years and never really talked about it publicly. There's been a couple celebrities who have passed away battling those illnesses. We lost Norm Macdonald earlier this year or last year too. Another celebrity that sort of didn't want to bring any unneeded attention to himself and just decided to deal with this illness in peace, and you have to respect that. You don't want the world's eyes on you in your most vulnerable time. But it is a very, very sad day that we lost Paul Reubens, aka Pee Wee Herman. He was born 1952 and he died yesterday, actually, July 30th, 2023. Paul Reubens has had a decades-long career starting in the Groundlings in the 70s, where he developed the Pee Wee character along with a lot of people, familiar names like Phil Hartman and all these amazing people that he helped create and staff on the show. There was a short time where Rob Zombie actually worked as like a set designer or producer on that show. Throughout the 70s, Pee Wee became somewhat of a cult character, developing it on stage. After a failed audition for SNL in the 70s or early 80s, he decided to go full-time and take this Pee Wee thing all the way, further developing a stage show and crafting a script with him and Phil Hartman, and eventually linking up with Tim Burton in his directorial feature debut to bring Pee Wee to life in Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and that just exploded. I think the budget for that thing was like $6 million. It went on to make $40 million. It was a huge success. At the same time, the show was popping off. After the success of Pee Wee's Big Adventure, the TV show started and ran from 1986 to 1990, and I remember every Saturday eating my cereal and watching that show. I just loved it. And he went on to do Big Top Pee Wee, a sequel to Pee Wee's Big Adventures. It wasn't quite as successful, but I loved it just as much. He went on to do a bunch of movies throughout the 90s and 2000s, being in some really big projects. He voiced the robot in the Flight of the Navigator movie in the spaceship, which was just a beloved classic. He also did movies like Cheech and Chong's Next Movie, Batman Returns, Mystery Men, and Blow. He was a pretty memorable character in Blow. I always felt that Paul Reubens, in the roles that I saw, he showed such potential to be this incredible character actor, and because of a couple stumbles that he had, I don't think he ever reached the heights of his potential. Maybe audiences just had him too locked into that Pee Wee character. I feel like any role that he did outside of Pee Wee was a standout role. If you look at the vampire character in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I always remember recreating that, and every line of Pee-wee's Big Adventure is just so quotable, and I remember watching that movie so many times back in the day. In 2016, he was able to bring Pee-wee back to life and sort of revived him for Pee-wee's Big Holiday, linking up with Judd Apatow to produce, and he wrote it along with Paul Rust, who's a fantastic writer. I like that dude. He has a great podcast. But that movie was good. It didn't hold the same nostalgia for me, so I don't think it caught on as much as those earlier movies, but Paul Reubens is somebody who would be dearly, dearly missed. The show that he created back in the day, which kind of put him on the map, was so otherworldly and ahead of its time, but also retro. The retro 50s, 60s design of the Playhouse with his sort of boyish, childlike quality and wonderment. It always brought so much positivity to my Saturday mornings. He always tried to teach positive lessons and be a good moral character for kids. And I think it was. There wasn't a bad bone in Pee-wee's body, and he just exuberated positivity and that childlike energy that I try to have to this day with myself in my own little playhouse. So I don't know if I really have anything else to say as of now. I'm gonna go watch some Paul Reubens movies, maybe do a couple reviews throughout the week, and I just wanted to sort of pay my respect and talk about the man a little bit, because people growing up now may not have known how big of a deal he was, and if you were to sort of pluck one of those TV shows or movies and show it to a kid these days, I think they would still respond to it just as much as we did when we were a kid. Just the innocence of being a kid and having that sense of discovery where everything's fun and exciting and new and fresh. That was the spirit of Pee-wee. That was the spirit of the Playhouse. And I try to keep that spirit alive in my little Playhouse. So rest in peace, man. Rest easy. You will be remembered by anybody who was a fan of your show, or whoever was lucky enough to watch any of your stuff and grow up with it in that time. It was pretty incredible. So RIP, brother. We lost a good one, man. I'll miss old Paul Reubens, man. So yeah, that's really all I had to say. Kind of a somber video, but I just wanted to show my respects. If you guys want to drop your favorite Pee-wee project, your favorite movie, your favorite episode, your favorite Pee-wee memory, if you got to meet him. I know I saw on Instagram a couple of friends are posting pictures. They actually got to meet him at convention stuff. I wish I would have been able to. I hear he was just a great guy. Every story that I ever heard from anybody that met him had nothing but good things to say about him. So yeah, but I think we're done here, guys. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.